Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Alex, the Comic Hoarder. Thank you so much for clicking play on this video. In this video, I want to show you a 5-figure new grail that I just got in the mail. UPS left it on the porch, which is totally fine. I live in an okay neighborhood. Really excited about this book. And then we can talk a little bit about the state of the collection, because getting this book was costly. It took a big chunk of my comic book collection to achieve this. And I want to know if you guys even know what this book is, or what do you think of it? So hopefully you guys are excited. Here we go. Okay, first things first is you guys notice we have done a lot of work back here to rearrange the background. And I have got a lot of my propaganda posters. This one is an original art. So that one is, and I'll do more of an in-depth sometime, but that one's original art for probably a newspaper caricature. That one is a propaganda poster, just getting school-aged individuals involved. This one is a one-of-one. I've consulted the Library of Congress. I've consulted different auction houses, including Heritage. That one nobody has ever seen, or there's no record of this one. And it's really, really cool. Dated probably 1938, I believe. This one behind me is a 1917, I believe. It is a World War I propaganda poster. And then this one is a 1942 Red Cross with Uncle Sam. So you can see my three favorite are the ones behind me, and they have Uncle Sam on them. Then you also have helmets, and you've got that skull cap. I also have another huge, probably like I don't want to over exaggerate, but probably 4 foot by 3 foot. It's the soldier looking out of the porthole, and it says, "We'll meet again." Very, very famous propaganda poster. I wanted to hang that up somewhere in this room, but it's just too massive, and there's no way to put it in a frame right now without having a very costly frame manufactured for it. So we will see one of these days. We'll figure it out. That is one of the things going on. And then I also have I used to have original artwork right here, like comic book pages. But now I've got that original artwork matted and in very nice frames, and I probably will put them up on this wall over here that I'm facing this wall. I'll probably put them up on the wall that I'm facing just to the right of me. So I'm pointing over to the right of me. I'll probably put them up on the wall over there. I want to do them really nicely. Now, DT, famous for Evan Tube, has his in a doorway. So I've got a big doorway right here that goes into the bar area and movie theater room. And so I may put them up on the wall over there, maybe 3 on each side, but I plan on expanding that collection. So more to come with that. Now let's talk about comic books. So comic books, as I talked about in a previous video, my goal has always been, or has been as of like probably the last 10 years, has been to build up a collection. And I don't get married to these comic books. I don't like emotionally invest in them like some people. I mean, these family comes first. So if anything in the family, if we ever needed funds, that's an easy way, sell a couple comic books. And I'd encourage you guys too. Like, I think about like Comic Collector Geek, great collection. I think he puts a lot of investment, emotional investment and financial investment into his comic books, which is totally cool. And I'm not throwing shade at Alan at all. Love his collection. Really love that channel, as a matter of fact. So if you want to go check out his channel, I would strongly suggest checking out Comic Collector Geek. But he puts a lot of emotional investment and financial investment to where it's like, if something came up, a big bill or something like that, would he be able to part with some of his comic books? That's for a question for him, maybe on one of his Wednesday chats. Or has he ever had to sell a comic book for financial reasons? For me, we have savings, we have investments, we have college savings for the kids as well. But if there was ever a time where I wanted something, say a car breaks down or I want a new car, instead of dipping into my savings or my checking account, I may decide to sell a comic book, so that I'm not married to my comic books. Now I've got some Grail comic books, and I'll just mention All-Star Comics #8. I've got 2 copies of that book, and this one is at that level as well. So this one is at kind of like around that same, maybe if that's an A tier book, or maybe if that's like an A- tier book, this would be like a B tier book, maybe. Maybe we could talk about that someday. Maybe Automatic Comics has tiered out some books, or Keston's Comics has tiered out some books, like Action Comics #1, Detective Comics 27, Superman 1, Batman 1, etc. Captain America #1. Maybe those are A+ books. The All-Star Comics first appearance of Wonder Woman is an A- level book. I mean, it's in the $1 million club, so maybe it's an A tier book. This one, I believe, is like a B+ tier book. I think it's very, very sought after. It's very rare. I'll put census numbers when we open it up. But to get this book, I had to sacrifice a lot of my comic book collection. So I kept the cornerstones of my collection. I kept the cornerstone, which is like the All-Star Comics #8. I kept a few other really, really important books, and then some really important early historical books, like, say behind me, like the Alex Schomburg, Brick Bradford that I recently got. Or I kept some of my Marvel Science Stories pulps that all predate Marvel Comics #1. So they're all from 1938 or 39. And I've got all of the first volume of Marvel Science Stories. The first appearance of Buck Rogers, I think, is a really important book. So books like that I think are really historically significant hold a more special place in my heart, as opposed to like Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes 23. Where it's got the really cool Adam Hughes Supergirl cover, or Wonder Comics #13, the cool Alex Schomburg cover. Some of those books, although they are really, really cool, and I love experiencing them and I love owning them, if something like this comes up and I actually have an opportunity to own it, those books become less and less valuable in my mind, or I'm less and less attached to them, because if there are means to getting something bigger, that's what I want. So now I've got the 2 All-Star Comics #8, and then I now have a third book that I would consider in that really top echelon of comic book collecting, where only, a few people, because All-Star Comics #8, there's less than 200 copies. For this book, there's less than 100 copies. So when you get to that level, there's only, about 100 other people in the world that own a copy of this book. So I think that is really, really neat. And I think it's really special, and it just gets my juices flowing. That's what gets me excited about the hobby, is kind of getting a collection and then using that collection really to consolidate into one big grail level book. And this is what I would consider, like, you consider like the PC. I would almost consider the All-Star Comics 8 and this book as like, put them in the vault. Like, these are almost untouchable. The vault can be opened. If something else comes up. Like, if all 3 of these books could get me into like a Blue Label Captain America Comics #1, that might be something I would do. You never know, if Yaniv comes to me and says, "Hey, we've got this book available." I might think about it, But I would almost consider putting these ones into vault status, where it's like they're out of reach, out of mind a little bit. Well, not out of mind, but out of reach, not in the normal everyday flow. Now, there's still a lot of comic books in there, of course, but a lot of my graded, like Adam Hughes covers, a lot of my graded, like Bronze Age or not significant Marvel keys, Silver Age keys, Bronze Age stuff, a lot of that went towards this book. And it is a 5-figure book. This book is probably valued at anywhere from $11,000 to $12,000. So I would say it's valued at $11,000. That's probably fair market value. I traded with Bryce Comics, and what I have into this is $12,000. So I paid some cash and some trade. So majority trade and some cash. So I'm really excited about this. Without further ado, let's get into this one. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this discussion around my collecting thoughts, what I've done with the room. If you guys enjoy that, maybe we could do a live show sometime. I will be doing some more sales because I want to get started on my, like, now that I've kind of opened the floodgates on this phase of my collection, it's like they're open. Everything other than the vaulted books are kind of on the table, potential to be sold. And what I want to do is kind of build up a war chest for another big level books. Before we look at what's inside, if you guys could, if you're brand new to the channel, if you could hit that subscription button, if you could hit that bell to be notified when there's future videos, that would be really awesome. For some reason, my view count has really dropped off, And if you guys want to support the channel, if you could hit that thumbs up, I think that would help with the algorithm. Also, if you could comment down below and we can have some discussions in the comments about, you know, my collecting goals, your collecting goals, collecting in general, maybe that would help put this back into the algorithm so more people will see these videos. But for some reason, we went from like 2,000 to 5,000 views per video down to 1,000 or less sometimes. And partially that's probably my fault for just putting out a lot of content and maybe some that people aren't really interested or watching the whole time. So I'm gonna hopefully be doing some good content for you all. I do have a CGC unboxing very, very soon. Actually, 2 of them because I put in 2 submissions. But anyways, yeah, Bri does a great job of putting a box in a box. But one of my recent comments was be more transparent on what you paid. So in regards to what I paid for this, I'm probably in it about $9,000 in trade and the rest cash for a total value of $12,000. So if you want to put that into the Go Collect and let them know that and I will let them know that the most recent copy of this book sold for $12,000. I mean, that's something I could probably do. All right. And it's also in a Gemini mailer too. So it's packaged upon packaged upon packaged. Well done. And then it's even in a bubble wrap mailer, which this is what I sent all my slabs to him in. And here it is, the amazing, amazing Captain America Comics number 74. This is from October of 1949, and some would say that it's the title switched for 2 issues, and in 74 and 75, issue 74 and 75, to Captain America's Weird Tales, and so some would call it that. This is a timely comic, you know, precursor to Marvel Comics. And this is a 3.5 with off-white pages. The cover is done by Martin Nodell, famous for creating Alan Scott Green Lantern. This is a classic Red Skull cover, and it is the first of 2 of the Weird Tales. This contains 3 horror stories, which this is not like the first Captain America horror story. I've had Captain America Golden Age back to like 1941, 1942, where the Captain America portion of the book was a horror story. And so this is just kind of continuing in that, where Captain America was fighting the undead, fighting zombies. In this, there's a really cool story that Collecto6 shared, because he recently got a restored copy of this book, I think 5.5, which is a really nice looking book. The colors pop beautifully on his copy. But in the story, Red Skull is in the afterlife, in pretty much hell. And he goes and he sneaks to the Book of the Dead and he writes Captain America's name in it. And the devil finds out, and the ruler of the underworld finds out, and he's not too thrilled that Red Skull did that. So like the Grim Reaper goes and gets Captain America, brings him down to the underworld. And he's like, I'm not supposed to be here. Well, it's like, you're here. The ruler of the underworld gives them a deal. If you fight, the winner can then go back up to the land of the living. And so Captain America was fighting Red Skull in the underworld. Red Skull had a scythe, like the Grim Reaper's scythe. And that scythe, if you even got touched by it, you'd perish. You'd lose the fight. And so Captain America had to dodge that. Even when Captain America punched Red Skull and Red Skull was about to fall off a cliff, Captain America tried to reach out and grab him to prevent him from falling. He won the fight, was immediately sent up. So this is, to my full understanding, the true death of Red Skull in the Golden Age, because the series Captain America ended and then it didn't start back up until the Silver Age. And Red Skull was never in another issue in the Golden Age. So, like I said, Captain America tried to save or prevent Red Skull from falling down into the abyss and being eternally destroyed. Captain America was sent back up to the land of the living. And when he woke up, he thought it was a dream. What a crazy dream. But then he looked down and found part of Red Skull's cloak still in his hands. So very, very cool story. Like I said, this is an amazing, amazing, probably top 25, top 50 book of the Golden Age. Very, very rare. The back looks fantastic as well. and I absolutely love having this. Hiram, as you may know from Instagram, had a copy of this years ago, and it just felt so cool, but so out of reach. I think we talked about making a deal for his copy, but it just was so out of reach, like $12,000. And I just was like, I don't have the heat to get that book. But when Bry had it, I started pricing out my slabs, and I was like, wait a second, I may actually have the heat to get close to this. And so I kept pricing them out, and I got to about like $9,000-$10,000, and he did his pricing, and we adjusted it to about $9,000 in value. And so I needed to come up with the rest of the cash. So I was able to pull together funds through sales to get the rest of the money, the rest of the cash that I needed to get this from Bry. So it was mostly trade, about $9,000-$10,000 in trade value, and then about $2,500 in cash from sales. So I was really happy to add this to the collection. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks again so much for being here. Thanks again for being a subscriber, for watching the channel. If you have any comments, try to keep them polite. I will try also to respond politely and try to respond professionally and amicably. So hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're not a subscriber, consider hitting that subscription button, hit that bell to be notified when there's future videos, hit that thumbs up, comment down below. Let's have a discussion, share this video out, do all that great stuff. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And with that, I'll talk to you all on the next one. See you. Bye.